Hey guys, what's up? Scotch Duck here, once again. Okay, I told myself, Donald, one more video before the end of the year. Come on, you can do it. I know it's hard. Okay, it's not hard, you're just lazy. But just fucking do it, okay? Pick a topic that you want to talk about, and let's go nuts. So, that's what I'm going to do today. Today I'm doing the SEGA 2019 review. I think I did something similar to this last year where I basically went over all the releases and gave my opinions on the games, etc. Where I think the company's going, if they're doing okay, and yeah, we're just going to ramble a lot. Might want to tab out of this one, check some emails, watch another YouTube video, who knows, but let's begin. Actually, before we begin, I'm sure a lot of you, and I suppose this is semi-relevant, I'm sure a lot of you want to know my opinions on this little game. Yeah, Shenmue 3. Can I just say, it's actually quite cool because there on the back of the box, look, there's the SEGA logo, you know? And the SEGA logo is also in the game, you know? I don't know, I wasn't really expecting that. I know it's their IP and shit, but yeah, I quite dug that. So, yeah. I'm not ready to talk about this, guys, right? I wanted to play for it at least, like, twice before I came in front of the camera and, you know, like, emptied my heart out to you guys. Okay? I've not done that yet, you know? Too many games are coming out, I'm trying to, like, play as much as possible. But, overall, if you must know, I liked it. I very much did like it. You want to know what it is? Okay? I feel like I'm having a hard time, distinguishing my feelings about the game itself versus my feelings of the game's actually out, you know, it's like those opinions sort of like clash, so I end up just rambling a lot in front of the camera, because I have tried to do it, I have, but I don't know, I need a bit more time to sit on it, guys, but overall, yeah, I dig it a lot. Okay, so, SEGA games, let's just go right into it. We'll start with the Atlas side of things, actually. So, Atlas have like, the thing about Atlas, right, is that I feel like they've had like a chill couple of years since Persona 5. You know, there wasn't really anything too big that came out last year, there wasn't really anything too big that came out this year. You know, they've really been focusing on a lot of like re-releases and smaller games. And the first of which I guess we'll talk about is Catherine Full Body, you know? I didn't even beat this actually. I feel bad for saying that, but I didn't. I beat the first one, it was kind of the same game, back in the day on the PS3. Really enjoyed it, really admired how different it was, etc, etc. So, yeah, Atlas just seems to love doing this. They love to take one of their, like, existing games and just add a bunch of shit to it. That was really what they did a lot in the past couple of years, you know? I guess they're just, like, building up to something big. Who knows, maybe we'll actually see Shin Megami Tensei 5 really soon. Wouldn't that be a hoot? But, yeah, it was, it's obviously the best way to play the game at this point is Catherine Full Body. And I suppose one other thing to really talk about in terms of like SEGA Atlas content is that the original Catherine, now rebranded Catherine Classic, actually came to Steam, you know? And that happened really like at the beginning of the year. And I feel like it was a bigger deal than many of us let on. There was a lot of complaining at the time because the game wasn't really finished, it didn't really technically have unlocked frame rates like the trailer said, and a lot of people were a bit effed about that, myself included. And obviously, you know, folk were like, why are you releasing the old version of Catherine when this one's right round the corner, the extended version? But yeah, I feel like it was a sort of like Atlas dipping their toes into Steam, because it was the very first Atlas game on Steam. Now obviously Sega, they love Steam, they put hundreds of shit on there. But Atlas not so much, and I'm guessing they were quite reluctant to it, so they're like, okay, we'll put a game on there, but it's going to be the inferior version of, like, a game that's coming out, so that this can still be, like, you know, a console exclusive, etc. And apparently it did quite well on Steam, which I'm very happy about. And, yeah, that happened as well, so good on you, Atlas, I guess. Hurry up and give us Shin Megami Tensei 5. And I suppose also to say about Atlas, we got a couple of 3DS games. We got Train Odyssey Nexus, which is still wrapped in cellophane for me, and Persona Q2. Yeah, I think this one in particular had the bigger impact, because obviously Persona 5 specifically, is still like on fire. And am I right in saying that this is the last 3DS game that anybody gives a shit about? Like, I feel like we were saying that about games like 2 years ago or something. Like, I'm pretty sure people were saying that about like Metroid Samus Returns and shit. But this one definitely seems to fit that bill more so, in my opinion. And I've not played it at all, and I've never really dabbled. I got a lot of complicated opinions about the Etrian Odyssey series, but let's just say it's a series that I do respect and like to support, even though I never fucking play them. I'm weird, anyway. And this is pretty much just an Etrian Odyssey game anyway, but maybe I'll get to this eventually. We'll see. So, next up we have, I suppose, talk about this next actually, yeah. Total War 3 Kingdoms. I know fuck all about this franchise, okay, but I'm going to include it because I think it's going to end up being like Sega's biggest game of the year, you know. Total War is obviously a very big franchise, got a very dedicated fan base on Steam. I'm not one of them, and I hate to say that because I can largely say that about a majority of Sega Europe. You know, I don't really care for Football Manager, I don't really care for like 2 Point Hospital, I don't really care for the new Humankind game that's coming out. I'll keep my eyes on them, and maybe one day I will actually give them a shot, but you know, it's not where my attention is, okay? And again, I hate to say that because obviously they are really well-made games that makes their respective fan bases really happy. You're just not going to get a lot of information about that from here. I guess speaking of Sega Europe, we did get a Switch version of Alien Isolation, which was excellent, by the way. A really good port of the 2014 game. Was it 2014? I think it was. And yeah, I loved Alien Isolation when I first played it on a PS4. Excellent game, and it's now on the Switch, and it's really good. So there's that Creative Assembly made that I really into, but whatever. On to some more stuff. So, I guess we'll talk about both of these games together, since they're both starring, you know, our boy. There's got Team Sonic Racing and Mario and Sonic at the Olympics 2020. What's the official title for this game? Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. Okay, there you go. Right. Now, I would say that both of these games are about as good as each other, but for kind of different reasons, because Team Sonic Racing was probably a little bit worse than I would have liked, whereas this one was a lot better than I thought, quite frankly. We'll talk about this one first since it, you know, came out first. Unfortunately, guys, I don't have a single original complaint about this one. I'm going to say the exact same stuff that everybody has been saying like all year. It's just not as good as Sumo Digital's last kart racer, which was Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed. Okay, not just because of the not just because of the lack of Sega characters, but just in terms of the overall content and the track design and shit. It's just not as good. It's still a good game. I did still really like it, but yeah. Again, I don't have anything original to say, right? I do also greatly wish that they would fucking support this game with some extra content or whatever, you know? I would be all over that shit. Because as it stands, it's a fully, like, decent kart racer, but compared to its competition, you know, other stuff that came out this year, it could just really use some support. You know, I feel like the community would really gather around this game and play it a lot more if they were willing to support it. So, I don't want to be too negative, because again, I did really like this game, but you know, I gotta say it, basically. And as for Mario and Sonic, holy shit, right? I mean, this franchise is obviously like a decade old at this point, and it took sort of a break last year in 2018, you know, it missed out on those like Winter Olympics. Obviously it came out on the Wii, and that first one on the Wii was actually the only one I properly played and was a big success, you know. It's always had like kind of middling reviews, but they were always like massive successes, on the Wii at least. But then they came over to the Wii U, and it wasn't just that they didn't do as well on the Wii U, they were also just not as good from what I can tell. You know, like had like a lot less content and shit all the way through. So I feel like the break that they took to make this one actually really pays off, because the content in this game is like really awesome, I felt. And the story mode, which was a first for the series, unless you count, I think there was a story mode on some of the DS games, I sure as hell didn't play those. But the story mode just had me smiling the whole way through. You know, I was just like, oh, this is good. You know, it was still like a run-of-the-mill minigame collection that you would get like in the Wii era. But it just had me smiling the whole way through, and for that, I really do appreciate it. I almost want to say I preferred it to Team Sonic Racing, But I think Team Sonic Racing is definitely the better game. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this. I highly recommend it. Mario and Sonic. So yeah, that's Sonic. So let's go on to, I guess, another one of Sega's mascots. Here we got Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. Again, I have no original opinions on this. I kind of agree with everybody else. You know, I was optimistic for this game when it was first coming out, and here's a unique opinion. I think I said this on like Twitter at some point, or did I say it on this channel? I can't remember. Not only do I think it was a kind of a shit thing to remaster this game and not, you know, the originals, I think this game was better on the Wii. Okay, I'm like weirdly apologetic towards the Wii era Super Monkey Ball games. Banana Blitz specifically, okay, Step and Roll was a bit shit, but yeah, I enjoyed that game a lot on the Wii. I really did. I remember when this got announced, I went back to it on the Wii, I was like, yeah, I still like this. This is still okay. Whereas you take that level design, and they have spruced up the level design a bit to accommodate for the fact that you're now playing with a controller and, you know, not motion controls. But it just ends up being boring. Like, I went back to Super Monkey Ball 1 as well after the fact, and it was just like night and day. I was like, holy shit, this is just so much better. So, yeah, RGG Studios, okay? If you're gonna do that thing that publishers do, which I fucking hate, and say, oh well, if this one sells well, maybe we'll make a new game or remaster the games that, you know, everybody wants a remaster one, but only if this one sells well. If you're gonna hate behind that, fuck you. just like either make Super Monkey Ball 3 or remaster 1 and 2. Okay, you know that's what everybody wants, right? Yeah, Super Monkey Ball. Right, next I guess we'll talk about one of my favourite games of the year, without a doubt, as it is typically every year. Speaking of Ryoga Gotoku Studio, we've got Judgment. And if you're wondering why I'm only showing a picture of it here, it's because I have this friend, right? Every time a Yakuza game comes out, he borrows my copy for like a year, never fucking plays it, or at least plays for it at a snail's pace. I never see the game again for months, and he just does this all the time. It's infuriating. So I don't have a copy of Judgment to show up for this video. But yeah, this was obviously the new IP slash Yakuza spin-off slash who really knows at this point, but it was a very, very good Ryoga Gotoku experience, that's for sure. Brilliant new character, Kamurocho is the same as it's ever been, but obviously that's fans of the series they kind of like dig that. And yeah, there's not too much to say about Judgment. It was just a really good Yakuza spin-off, you know? You were just a detective instead of a crime person thing. So, yeah. But I guess while we're talking about Yakuza, we also had the introduction to the Yakuza HD collection, which happened back in, like, summer, I think it was. It may have been a bit later. Anyway. But yeah, they started re-releasing, finally, English versions of Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. And they were doing them bit by bit, which I think is fairly smart. You know, you buy it all and you get the games as they come out. But then next year you're going to be able to buy the physical version of the Yakuza Remaster Collection, which comes with a PS3 case for Yakuza 5. Oh my god. Just, okay, I was going to try and like moan about the fact that they're kind of making us pay for stuff that we're going to get later. Not to mention, if you want it now, you gotta pay for it, but if you want that physical version, you gotta pay for it again. But then I think about that fucking PS3 case, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm fine. I'll buy it twice, okay? Just give me that, right? And yeah, we've had like Yakuza 3 and Yakuza 4 so far, my two favourite games in the series, and yeah, they're 1080p 60 frames per second. I'm happy. So, yeah, moving on. What else do we have? I had them on my phone. Give me a minute. I kind of just want to throw this in here because I definitely wouldn't talk about this in any other way, but I don't know. It's technically a new IP revived in 2019 for Sega, so I just feel the need to mention it here. Even though I've not played it, I'm just so happy that it exists, and that is the Choo Choo Rocket Universe. I think that's the full name of it. The Choo Choo Rocket game that's on Apple Arcade, okay? I don't own any Apple devices. I don't really like Apple devices, if I'm being honest. Samsung user. But yeah, fucking, I just like the fact that that's back, you know? And even though it's on a subscription plan that I can't access, right, I hope that they put it over to something else eventually. Because it looks like the sort of game that you could probably like put on console or PC at a really cheap price. But it's probably going to stay on that service for, you know, a little while longer. Which, is whatever. It's just nice again to see Sega bringing back older IPs and whatnot. And one other franchise that Sega's continuing to support in the West that over the past like year and a half or something, I've genuinely, guys, become a really big fan of this franchise. Like, which is so weird because I barely even knew it existed in my whole life, right? I think I need to do a video on this, if I'm being honest. And that was Puyo Puyo Champions, the latest Puyo Puyo game. Which obviously was Puyo Puyo Tetris, but they took out the Tetris and I don't know, they've added like little things to it over time, like a lesson mode and some other single player stuff. But ultimately, it's not the best place to start with the series. It's really only exists if you want to get into it competitively. I've put a lot of time into it. I use it to like, you know, try to build up my chains and stuff, or if I want to play random people online, usually Japanese people that are way, way better than me. But yeah, again, I'm just happy to see the franchise is still gone, you know? And even outside of like that release, we had like the original Puyo Puyo come to Sega Ages, and probably really bizarrely, we had Puyo Puyo 2, the Super Nintendo version, be added to the Nintendo Switch Online Super Nintendo library. I remember just seeing that and being like, what? Really? It was honestly really cool. It's the only Japanese game on there. And yeah, it's Puyo Puyo. It's brilliant. But yeah, I think I do need to do a full video on Puyo Puyo at some point, and just my sort of like new love for it or whatever. But we'll see. Maybe in 2020, 2020. I know some people get caught up on that. And the last thing we're going to talk about, where the fuck did I put it up? Here it is. The last thing we're going to talk about that was released in 2019 by Sega was this. Did I do a full video on this? I can't even fucking remember, but I definitely bought it. That's for fucking certain. And I can't say I've bought any other retro consoles, so I've got nothing to compare it to. But yeah, this was an absolute joy to play through. I've played through a handful of games on it. It's again, I don't really have any unique opinions on it. It's got great emulation, great build quality. I love it. It's really cool. So, and that was the letterbox there. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, better go into that door. I suppose it's a good way to end the video. So yeah, that was that, guys. I might do another video as well about Sega in 2020. I talk about Sega a lot, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, see you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, I was actually just finishing up editing that video when I realised, oh fuck, I never actually gave my conclusion to Sega in 2019. So we're gonna do that now. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good year overall, you know. I mean, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think the time where I really started to give a shit about Sega as a third-party publisher again, and really just pay attention to them and all the stuff they're doing, was in 2017. 2017 was just like one of the best years overall. It was a great year for like gaming overall, 2017. So much good shit came out then. But Sega definitely brought out a lot of like really good ones in that year as well. And then came 2018. It was still good, but a little bit worse. And to be honest, I feel like 2019 is the same. It's still good, but a little bit worse. Okay. So I don't think it's a cause for concern just yet, especially because supposedly next year we're gonna have a hell of a year in our hands with like loads of like amazing games coming out. Again, I'll probably do like a little video, we'll see, on Sega for Sega games for 2020. There'll all be games that I've talked about to death already on this channel, so we'll see how I feel. But in any case, yeah, 2019. 7 out of 10, Sega, if I had to put a number on it, yeah. So, with that said, guys, that's a good way to end the video now, hopefully. See you after, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.